long time no see, I guess. At least not in person. Yes, I've kept consistent with filming and posting video reflections. So, right now, this is video reflection for October the 23rd, which is a Wednesday. And today I went to school to play some lacrosse because we have a competition a couple of weeks later, and I would like to see how much I've improved with, just the school members that I used to play with. I've been training considerably. Wall ball, pass and catch, dodging. So I just really wanted to put that to the test. So that's why I went to my school, basically just to play lacrosse. One mistake I made was after lacrosse, you know how, I don't know if I mentioned this actually in my daily reflections, but just to recap, if this was previously mentioned, I participate in the lacrosse U20, so that's under 20, Korean representative team. And I'm not even the full, I'm not a member yet. Nobody is. It's basically, they do this thing where they have several training teams. So it's training team 1, then training team 2, and then as those training teams progress, they remove members who they think are inadequate or lacking. But anyway, so this lacrosse training team consists of like 30 members, but since the coach can't give them each a specific or special training program, they sort of just make one multi-purpose training program for everybody. And for today, that training program was 10 kilometers. It was running 10 kilometers, which I did. I did it with Andrew. I don't know if you might remember Andrew from the Team C videos, but I did it with Andrew, and we sort of motivated each other, and I achieved an average pace of 5:12, which is pretty impressive. But honestly, that's how, but the reason I say that's a bit of a problem is because I ended up using about an hour running. And sure, while I was there for lacrosse mainly, I also wanted to meet someone. I wanted to meet friends, and but because I sort of spent too much time running, I couldn't. And since the other person I was trying to meet had a busy schedule, I just feel very dumb right now. Yeah, so you know how I always say I have priorities? That's true. I have 7 priorities at the moment. 3 of which are personal, and by personal I mean like they're related to my personal relationships or family, but those are but I said there's 7, right? So those 3 slots, that's 1, 2, and 3. And then come the rest, like SAT, lacrosse, AP, and club activities. But basically, today I forgot about my priorities, and I put lacrosse too high. I'm someone who thinks that certain relationships, like family or certain friends, are more important and invaluable than any amount of money or any amount of anything else. Yes. But I sort of got sidetracked today, so I want to reflect on that. Right? No matter how much you want to feel good after running, no matter how much you want to exercise, once you've set priorities, Jasper, I'm talking to you, you need to go through with them, right? Those priorities aren't there just for show. If you have something at priority 1, you should be able to absolutely delete priority 2 or put it in the back seat for the rest of the day for priority 1. That's the gap between each priority, right? So, yeah, sometimes they are, I mean, it makes me mad just thinking about it, but sometimes those priorities are exclusive, and when they are, you should not be afraid to just focus on priorities with lower numbers. Okay. Anyway, okay, so that's that. I also want to talk about the appropriate technology conference that I participated in. I wanted to talk about this yesterday, but yesterday I was sorry. I'm sorry, but I was in the airport, so that was unfortunate. But here we are today. So let's talk about the conference. Firstly, this conference, it wasn't a competition. It wasn't some. I didn't participate in this so I could get another EC or extracurricular or honors. No, I participated in this so I could get two things. One is experience, and two, larger perspective, both of which I have achieved successfully. So let's talk about the first thing, experience. First, before I start, I'd like to mention that this is the first time I've participated in a conference of any sort, international or domestic, an academic conference on any topic. And I must say that it was really fun. It was. You know how I posted about Maker Faire? And I really enjoy projects like Maker Faire, where people come together and show off what they did. But I think conferences are a expansion of that, or actually not an expansion per se, but a more zoomed in, focused version of Maker Faire, so more concentrated. So if Maker Faire or some of those science fairs showcase many different projects from many different fields, conferences, on the other hand, have a specific topic and like to showcase projects related to that specific topic. Now, it has ups and downs, it has its own upsides and downsides, but I think the most important upside that it has is because the topics are concentrated and focused, you can just pick and choose which conferences you want to attend based on your interests. So if you're not interested in sports, you don't have to go to a sports conference. If you're not interested in appropriate technology, then maybe the appropriate technology conference isn't for you, right? Whereas in Maker Faire, you sort of just have a lot of diverse projects, sure, but most of them might not be your taste. But yes, so that's the first one. That's how I felt about conferences. And then as about my experience, I think it was a interesting experience, both in terms of the characteristic of the conference being international and the conference being experimental. Okay, so for international, I mean that since the conference was international, I got to meet a lot of different researchers from different countries. They were all most of them were fantastic. Someone from South Korea who wasn't a researcher, who claimed he was some kind of maker, he was terrible. And I learned a lot from him because I said, I don't want to be like that. Well, but most of the people I met were fantastic. I met Harry. Harry is an Indonesian lecturer who finished his master's in South Korea. But Harry is awesome. He's very friendly. He shares my perspective on appropriate technology, and he's very open to conversations about just any topic in general. So yeah, I really enjoyed meeting Harry. And then other than Harry, we had several professors from South Korea that I really enjoyed meeting. Um, Kramas is a new friend. I mean, in Korean standards, I wouldn't call him a friend because he's much older than me. But I mean, I said, and it's international, right? So yeah, I'd say Kramas is my friend. But anyway, yeah. So I met a lot of new people, and a lot of them were international, or I mean, not international, but a lot of them were from South Korea, which I'm absolutely all for. I actually think I excel at meeting non-Korean people. I think it's maybe because I have a certain inborn curiosity about people from different cultures, and maybe that, or it's just I really like meeting new people uh, who I can speak English with. Yeah, but anyway, I really enjoyed it because since the conference was international, I got to talk with a lot of uh, different guests from different countries. So that's the first part. The second part is, as I said, the conference was experimental, and you know, an experimental conference has its upsides and downsides. The main downsides being that it's less polished, has less renown, has a couple of hiccups, but the upsides are because it's experimental, it has to not the organizers have to put in a lot more effort, and I think that really showed in this conference because when you think of Bali, it's normally thought of as a tourist island. So I was actually worried that some of the professors might have just been there to just have a holiday. But no, absolutely not. The professors who organized it and the other PhD students, they were all, I think, 100% when it came to giving their effort. The organization was very cleanly cut. There were no excessive detours or tourist attractions. Or yes, the atmosphere was very formal, and I and everybody respected each other. So yeah, and then the other thing with experimental conferences is because people are trying out new things and trying to see what works, it's very flexible um, when adjusting directions or integrating new programs. And I personally find that more attractive because it sort of leaves room for future changes. So it means that if I just because I attended the international conference on appropriate technology for 2024 doesn't mean I'm going to expect the same thing next year. So I'm probably going to get something different. So I think that's an upside for me at least. So yeah, I think that's enough about experience. And the other part I want to mention is perspective. Before I went on this before I went to this conference, I was reading Factfulness, and that enhanced my perspective a lot. It made me think about appropriate technology and developing nations as just people and people who needed help and technology to help them. And it changed from that to people who are growing at exponential rates, nations that are growing at exponential rates, and technology technology that's better suited for their local needs. So it's not just some kind of charity program. No, not at all. It actually is closer to a business model and a business aspect of it is much stronger than I initially anticipated, and I'm all for that because through this conference I learned that such a business model and such a way to incorporate technology, and by such a way I mean by making the locals participate in applying the technology and making the technology into a business, I think such practices are more sustainable, and in fact they are, because once the local people, the local users realize that they can make money off of just money off of the technology that um, they've been instilled with, they're much more likely to sustain the technology, maintain it, and even go as far as to improve the technology based on their own knowledge about the local culture and local traits, I guess. But yes, so once an appropriate technology project turns into a business, more people are likely to be interested. Governments are likely to fund them because they are similar in characteristics to startups. And I think it's basically a win-win for everybody as long as they don't go overboard with the price, which rarely happens in developing countries. I'm sorry, it's a bit hot in here. But yeah, so I think the two main things that I got, two main pieces of wisdom that I gleaned from this conference is one, appropriate technology isn't a charity foundation, and we should treat it more as a business and possible opportunity for financial profit rather than just a simple one-sided gift to developing nations. And then two is appropriate technology shouldn't just stay in the basic needs area, and by basic needs I mean clean drinking water, food, supplies, basic human needs, right? It shouldn't stay there because as countries develop, those basic needs are met more and more. So more people have access to clean drinking water, transport, supplies, food, and all of that. So appropriate technology from now on, at least, should slowly tilt its focus from those basic stage 1 needs to more luxurious and quality of life related technologies, such as electronics and embedded technology, things like that. So I think the definition of appropriate technology is very, very loose. I just like to think of it as technology that's created with a certain area or region in mind, so that the technology is not just specific to that region. No, that's not what appropriate technology is, but it takes advantage of the full resources and capabilities of that region. So it's like a bespoke. That's the word I was looking for. It's bespoke technology, right? If I say this watch is bespoke, then, well, I probably got it fit for me, right? I think appropriate technology is bespoke technology. It's not, you don't think of bespoke as bespoke suits as charity, right? And you shouldn't think of appropriate technology as charity either. It's not something we give to poor countries and developing nations. It's just technology that's suited, that's created to suit their needs suit their needs better than existing pieces of technology. So I think that's basically what I got from this conference. That's sort of the reflection on thoughts and ideals that I got. And it's getting late, so I'm going to go to bed. Have a nice day. And I really enjoyed the ICAT 2024. Tomorrow I'm going to be sending emails to all those professors and friends I met. Have a nice day.